Melyssa Ford is recently going viral
Oh
for
God.
her comments. And so we're going to ask a couple questions, not long questions, but we're going to get into a couple questions. Let me know what y'all thoughts are.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
Your booze mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
What's going on, YouTube? It is your boy Ron back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, I hope you subscribe. So, got a video for you guys. Supposedly, Melyssa Ford has gone viral for the comments that she said about Manosphere and RP content. Seems to be a lot of that happening nowadays, but it's interesting when it's coming from an over-the-hill video vixen who has admittingly and knowingly struggled with dating, especially considering, she's on the higher end of the attractive scale. And now that she is well over the hill, I believe she's probably approaching 50 here pretty soon. In my personal opinion, I think she just feels away because a lot of the things that she probably hears in this type of content, as well as seeing the comments, apply to her specifically. But gonna see what everybody else thinks as well as her. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
But that's the loud minority.
Like Giselle.
So, this is leading up to a bigger conversation, but I'm going to just leave it there. And she basically went on to talk about men being misogynistic, or they're not necessarily standing with women. And so I'm gonna ask a general question, and then I'm gonna deep dive a little bit further into my next question. But in a general sense, are women justified at being upset at the loud voices that's coming from the podcast bros? Should I call on somebody, or anybody want to just jump in? I'll call on somebody. I'm gonna go with Kim. Kim and Gemini likes to sit back, contemplate, ponder, listen, and observe. And so I'm gonna call on Kim. Kimmy, are women justified in being upset at the louder voices of the podcast bros, and that she is basically assessing that they don't necessarily stand with women? They're creating an environment that's not conducive for women.
I think that you find what you seek. And if that's what's in your algorithm, that's because that's what you put there. So they're only loud because you're listening. So no, I don't think you should be upset with them. Find the people who pander to the women and go with that. You chose this. You chose to listen to that. So deal.
I like this one.
And she is 100% correct, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there are ways for you to get that type of content out of your algorithm. Simple as that. Take it from somebody that reacts to this type of content all the time. You don't think I've come across Shira 7 or women that are on the other side? Now, the part of the reason why I'm accepting of it is because I react to it. But realistically speaking, I know for a fact that if I wanted to, all I got to do is say that it's not for me, go to my settings or something, and that shit won't pop up in my feed anymore. Because what I'm starting to notice is that if I give more attention to different type of content, especially on TikTok, that's usually what ends up starting to pop more frequently up on my feed just from other different content creators. So at the end of the day, I think as much as you want to sit over here and say, like, you get to see the other side because of the type of content that I intake, I think it has more so to do with the fact that if you're continuously seeing this is because there is something that is being said on the other side that resonates with you, and you just don't like it, and instead of actually looking at self, you want to just point the finger at men, even though what they're saying probably that you know what I mean, you know the saying, hit dogs holler. I think it's something to that effect, to be honest with you. But let's keep it moving.
I'm afraid to go to Q. Let me go with Q. Q is,
What are you afraid?
well, we'll see how it plays out. Is Melyssa Ford justified at being upset at the loud voices that don't stand with women that's often coming from the podcast bros?
I think so, because I don't think the message is for all the bros, and all the bros be taking the message. Kind of like the whole, let's take Kevin Samuels. For the most part, he was talking about the head niggas in charge. And then you got all these broke niggas. Thought you can get with the head niggas fucking and get, and he like, I wasn't even talking to y'all. Y'all broke. Like, I think men probably like, they have a like hard time like differentiating like if this message is for us, because it ain't for everybody.
Okay.
So I get it. And then when you got talking points from somebody else and you don't have your own thoughts and you just talking, then there's that too.
And you know what? I understand where Q coming from to a certain degree, because that's one of the reasons why I started my channel and I named my channel what I did. Because when Kevin Samuels got popular and then you started seeing all these other podcasters having these conversations, the one common theme that I noticed is like, ain't none of y'all really speaking up for the average man. Now, to some degree, Kevin Samuel was, but the reason why he highlighted high value men is due to the fact that that's what most women were striving to get and desired. And he proved that pretty much every single time he brought a woman on his damn show. And most of these women that came on his show were average looking. You feel me? And if they were attractive, they seemed to either be a headache or they had kids. So when you look at it from that perspective, he definitely has a point, man. And again, that was one of the reasons why I was inspired to start my shit, because I'm thinking to myself like, bro, like most women are not going to be able to get this man. And I'm thinking to myself, if anything, you can make the argument that the average man is probably more likely to end up with a half decent attractive looking woman more so than a half decent attractive looking woman getting a man that can pay all the bills, because the numbers just don't add up. But apparently that fantasy seems to only be sold in Western societies, because let me tell you, as somebody who's been traveling in these other countries, I see average looking ass dudes, below looking average dudes with bad shit, especially out here in Colombia, bro. That's like the norm. But let's keep it moving.
Let me play a little bit more before I go to the next person. Up there. Because a little bit more of the context where she was talking about the whole narrative where women say, if I'm in the woods and a man that I don't know approached me in a bear, I'm choosing a bear. And then Charlamagne asked her, you know, has she had mostly positive relationships with men? I'm gonna ask the question again, but I'm gonna pose it to Carrie, then I'm gonna go to Lex. Are women justified at being upset at the voices that's being, used to amplify men's thoughts or the podcast bros' thoughts? Are women justified in being upset at the current state of things?
It's understandable. I don't know if it's justified, only because I think the same is happening with women. I think there's a minority of women who are being the loudest that are like anti-men. So I feel like it's happening on both sides. So being upset, I don't know. I don't know if they're justified for being upset. It's frustrating, but yeah.
Why is it frustrating?
Because for those women who are not the loud minority, who are like anti-men, it can sometimes be, and I mean frustrating, like kind of disheartening, because sometimes hearing men in the way that I'm guessing she's describing, it feels like they just don't like us. And who wants to feel like men don't like women? That just feels wrong. So that
It
is
feels
just
like men don't like y'all right now.
yeah, sometimes when you listen to the conversation, it sounds like that.
Okay.
I heard there a lot, like on some of these other panels, not so much over here, but like when there's women and men, like women are always say, "Do y'all even like us?" That's what they say, and I get it.
And you want to know why they feel that way? Because they've never been held accountable for anything. Women have never been held accountable. This is why bruh, it's kind of hard for me not to laugh at women every time I hear a woman says that men don't hold other men accountable. Because for one, when women, you hear women say that, what they really mean is that the men that I know that are good for me, that I'm not attracted to and that I don't like, they don't hold the men accountable that I don't require anything for them to have access to me and they treat me like trash. And I want them, I want those men to hold, they want the Russells to hold the Futures accountable because they want the Futures to be more like Russells because they really don't want the Russells. The Russell is just a plan B. But because the accountability has been overcorrected and so one sided for so long that when RP content and Manosphere content came out, that's why it caught such a buzz because holding women accountable is taboo. I'm like, remember a while ago when I asked, "What's one? Can women name one thing that they're solely held accountable for?" I'm like, I still haven't gotten an answer on that yet.
And I get that if you're listening to people on the internet, but I don't think in real life anybody's walking around saying, well, I don't think men like women. I mean, they're showing you every day that they do. So again, it's a matter of seeking ye shall find. You sought this stuff out. Like you don't have to hear this. And for her to say that she hasn't had good relationships with men, I mean, we just not gonna talk about the fact that she was in the industry and a video vixen. I mean, I think that that probably had a lot to do with the way that the men related to her. So you can't discount that and make it seem like you're just this regular, average, everyday girl off the street. I don't think that her experiences were the same as everybody else's.
I'm like, I think I kind of mentioned that in my intro. I was thinking to myself, like, are any of us really surprised? Like, really? You got video vixens left and right that are in their 40s and 50s. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't married, ain't got no man over here complaining about, you know, having somebody to settle down with. Like, I don't watch Vlad TV, but I recently been seeing he interviewed Gloria Velez. And y'all know that's another video vixen. She was pretty popular around the same time Melyssa Ford was. And you know, she was with Aaron Hall like in her prime. And you look at her now, yeah, my point exactly. I'm like, and y'all know, I don't know if y'all been watching those interviews, but some of the stories that she been telling, like it wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't surprise. And then you think of Superhead. Oh yeah, all y'all were floating in those same circle of entertainers. You mean it? Yeah, no wonder you didn't have the greatest relationships with men personally and intimately. Because something tells me she probably had quite a few casual encounters. Would not shock me the least in that industry, and she looked like that.
So you think that her past should also play a role in how men see her?
I didn't say it should play a role, but I think we would be remiss to think that it wouldn't. I mean, You earn a reputation regardless of whether or not it's true, just based on what you've done. And again, just we know how men judge women, and you put yourself out there to be judged that way, and then you're surprised at the results and surprised that these men treated you that way. I don't see her saying, oh, I also experienced, these elaborate dates or these amazing gifts. She's only talking about one side of what her experience was, and I don't think that's fair.
Lex, are women justified in being upset at the amplified voices of men as voicing their concerns with relationships today? The podcast bros.
I don't think so. And I say that because I think it's self-defeating for women to have that mindset. I think that it shows an uncomfortable truth, these podcasts about women that they don't want to see, and it makes them have to question or rewire everything that they were taught of how to show up in men. So men are not being blinded by the modern dating culture of things being transactional and the way women are pretty much behaving. Not just that, I'm just throwing out random things, but I think that this was created and cultivated based on one man snapping out of what you call quote unquote matrix, the red pill, and like looking like, man, something's wrong. And people are like, and men, they're like, yeah. But I also agree with what Clinton said, like people like Kevin Samuels weren't even talking to all of y'all. But we can't ignore the fact that they don't have a right to get mad when they have podcasts all the time with women telling them how to get the coins and finesse men, and it throws everything off instead of somebody just having some type of self-mastery or showing up for themselves and work on self. Y'all want to get mad at other people for revealing y'all tactics. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right, I'm with that. I'm gonna come in semi last. Molly, do you think that Melyssa Ford and women are justified at being upset at the amplified voices of these guys out here in these streets?
I think because it's Melyssa Ford, I don't really take it as seriously coming from her, because I don't believe she has any children. Is she married?
I don't think, no, neither one.
So yeah, right. So women with those type of lifestyles, I don't really, what are you listening to it for? Are you trying, I don't understand if she's trying to take anything from it to maybe find a relationship or something like that. If you're not, why do you care? And if you only care because it's affecting your self-esteem, why is your self-esteem wrapped up in what some men are saying online on a podcast? So I guess I think I just have an issue with her talking about this, because it's really not that serious. If you have an issue with what they're saying, don't listen to it. Just live in your echo chamber of women or pandering men who will sit there and say what women want to hear all day. Why is it hurting your feelings? I don't know. I guess I don't understand that. And if you're not the target, what you care for? That's- I don't know. I don't know why women care.
Have any of y'all noticed that half of the women admitted that these women just need to go to the other side where the women and men tell y'all want to hear and pander to y'all? Because the reality is that is the reason why it bothers you. Because for once, there isn't just a whole bunch of people enabling you and then the other side just being quiet. Because for a long time, it's been that way. But now that both sides are having a conversation, now all of a sudden it's a problem. I'm like, that's some shit, ain't it?
Slim Dog Millionaire. Is Melyssa Ford justified in being a little bit upset at the podcast bros?
I don't give a fuck about Melyssa Ford, but I will do this. Newsflash for those that didn't understand. Kevin Samuels talked to men first. So he was talking to all men with his content at first. Now, when he started referencing a high value man, that's a different conversation. But he was holding men accountable. As far as this bimbo goes, Melyssa Ford she a sad case.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
She is really a sad case. She's a feminist who doesn't want to own up to having one of the greatest runs at a whole phase in life, or what we can assume was a whole phase. She doesn't want to own up to that, and that's why she was treated by men a certain way. She probably got some good shit from it. I mean, she ended up being a successful hoe. That's another one who we can add to that list with Kim Kardashian and Amber Rose. She's a successful hoe. Like, she manages to stay relevant just because she was a hoe. Like, let's be real. She should not be talking. She got fired from another podcast. Like, why are we interviewing Melyssa Ford? Why are we still talking to her? She's literally irrelevant. Joe Budden was out of his mind for making this woman relevant again.
Why?
But he did it. Now she wants to fire back at men some way, somehow. She's still bitter.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
Buy a dog, die alone.
She's just a bitter woman. She's mad at men because she didn't get chose. She was nice looking and she doesn't understand why. She's mad at herself because she doesn't understand why she's so beautiful, supposedly, and she doesn't have anybody except somebody who just want to smash.
Who the clap themselves?
At the end of the day, dudes don't value her for her personality or her thoughts. They don't. Or she would be wed. She would be somebody's wife.
That's tough, but that's reality. I really think that's what it comes down to. She just kind of comes off like a bitter, over-the-hill woman. Oh, because I had access to these type of men, and I still have access to these type of men, but nobody wants to take me seriously. Never been married, never had any children. Come on, bro. We already know what time it is. But see, the average looking guy that's 30 and over and never been married or had any children, see, women like her are called those men a red flag, but women in her position, because of women empowerment, they're not seen as a red flag. Ridiculous, man. In my personal opinion, overall, I don't think she has any reason to be upset. I think she's just triggered by some of the stuff that she hears and reads in the comments because it resonates with her, and she doesn't want to do anything to change or accept reality. But y'all let me know what you think. If you're new to the platform, please subscribe. OGs, I appreciate the love and support. Make sure y'all hit that bell notification. That way y'all know what I'm uploading. Hit the like button because it helps with the algorithm and helps me reach a broader audience. Also look out for the travel vlog channel as well as the live show channel. Both links are in the description. Until the next video, y'all. Deuces.